Hey, welcome to Film Fanatics. My name is Dan.
My name is Justin.
And I'm Joe.
This week, Matt Damon fights on a Great Wall. Dane DeHaan fights The Cure for Wellness. And Ice Cube and Charlie Day are having a fight of their own on school grounds. First up, we talk about The Great Wall, and that is with Joe.
All right. Okay, summarizing The Great Wall.
Talk about the white Damon.
Okay,
Oh, yes.
Wait.
The whiteness of the Damon.
We'll get there. Okay, but...
Heroic
okay.
Whitey.
Yes. Very much like in many films like we've seen, I think, there are many examples. I think, classic Dances with Wolves or Last Samurai comes to example. We take a non-white culture.
Gods of Egypt.
In this case, China, the Great Wall, doing Chinese things. Obviously tailoring history a lot, focusing on a legend around the Great Wall that not only was it built to defend against Huns, but also weird lizard monsters.
Yes, clearly.
Which I'm fine with, absolutely. And in context, we have Matt Damon playing an European warrior who has come seeking the black powder, and he gets captured and ends up fighting amongst the warriors on the Great Wall and kind of learning to be a better person and, be a good guy and about honor and learning about the Chinese army and everything. And it's basically the movie.
Yes.
Now, I will say this. Obviously, there's the whole... we got a story focused around the Great Wall, even if it is fantastical.
A little bit. Just a smidge.
Just a smidge. But okay, it is rooted in Chinese culture, which is cool. But we have, of course, Matt Damon, the big bankable white actor, at the forefront of this. Now, was this necessary? Of course not. But let's face it, we've talked about it before. We know why they do it. Sad but true. If you get a well-known white actor in the seat...
Brand association.
People are more likely to go see it. But does it automatically make it a bad thing? A lot of the time I say, yeah, but in this particular case, at least there was a context for it. Like, okay, he's going out there, he's searching for something, early trade routes. Okay.
He explains that he has no flag.
He's got no flag, he's a mercenary, so he could have been up there. Yeah, it's a stretch.
Because that's how European history works.
It's not, he fought for like a duke and a... He moved all around the place, but hey, there were mercenaries. Like I said, it's loose, but at least it's not like, hey, he comes in and, there's no acknowledgement of it.
To be fair, though, it's not that far off.
It's not far off, but it was a better explanation than what I was expecting. Even so, though, it's still like, hey, this guy kills the things better than we do, even though we've been fighting them forever. Okay, but, all right, whatever. Maybe he's just a great warrior. All right, it's happened. It happens in stories. This is fantasy. I'm letting it go. So how does the rest of it go? All right, basically take the siege from the Two Towers, Return of the King, Lord of the Rings, and that's this movie. It's just those scenes.
And nowhere near as compelling.
Not as compelling, I will admit that. But when you go into a movie with zero expectations, expecting to hate it, I didn't hate it. Actually, I thought... No, I actually thought that I kind of liked some of the humor with Damon and his sidekick have. They were was he a Spanish guy, I guess, in Spain? I think so.
Yeah.
I liked some of their banter. I really liked some of the production design. I liked some of the shots. I thought that the CGI was not as bad as I was expecting. I did like the creatures.
Oh, it could have been a lot worse.
I thought it was kind of cool.
I'll grant to that.
I really liked the structure of the army. I liked the colorization, the costuming. I thought was really cool. I liked the interactions with the characters. It was pretty standard stuff, and I really wish they would have delved more into these characters and had a little more of a story to make it more like Lord of the Rings, which is clearly what they're emulating. This is Chinese Lord of the Rings, light, super light, diet light, but I was mostly entertained by it.
Okay.
I was expecting to hate it, and I'm like, this isn't too bad. I don't hate this.
All right. Well, it seems like Justin has shown a little bit of his hand, so let's go to him.
Let's go to Justin.
Let's hear about it.
I feel like about 20 minutes in, me and the gentleman I watched this with were both sort of on the same page, which was, is this movie a joke? Seriously, did China just troll us and we didn't know?
It had some jokes.
Yeah, it did have some jokes. It's just kind of funny.
I think of the director that they put on in the driver's seat for this one, Shang Yimou, who's done Coming Home, which Dan and I really liked. Yeah, I like that. Hero, which Joe and I really like.
Yeah.
And he's clearly got a good directorial eye. And yet he gets stuck with this. Holy smokes, is this movie a freaking disaster. It's a glorious disaster, but it is a disaster nonetheless.
Interesting.
To start, whitewashing sticks out like a monumental sore thumb. I'll grant you the fact that, okay, yes, they do give a little bit of context. But every single battle basically comes down to this. Monsters come into play. Chinese army has some sort of weird stylistic battle tactic. Think Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon on crack.
Big time. Looks
Enter
cool.
Matt Damon as gigantic Deus Ex Machina, who will usually just take out 3 or 4, Monster Sphere, Whitey, and run away. Repeat about 3 times.
They do fear him, but he does do well.
It's not even like there's a big turning point. It's like you've taken out 3 monsters out of hundreds. And the monsters are like, oh crap, it's Damon. Run.
Well, wouldn't you
run from Whitey?
Wouldn't you run from Jason Bourne? I mean, I would.
And you know what bugs me the most
He's not a Damon fan. He would run.
Well, there you go.
Oh, no. I would be like, bring it on, Damon. Come on.
Maybe the monsters aren't fans of the Greengrass films.
Yeah.
They're like, let's run. It's him.
No jerky cam.
There was some of that in this movie, though.
No, not to Greengrass extent, though.
No, but there was a little bit.
Look, they were afraid they were going to put him in that zoo that he bought.
Yeah.
Okay.
He bought the zoo.
Every David movie is connected.
We knew it.
Made sense.
There you go.
Oh, yes. But, oh my gosh. And the fact that Damon was trying to justify this with, oh yes, well, there's other strong, compelling characters. Every character in this movie is dumb as a freaking brick.
Not all.
I don't agree with that.
The strategies are horrible. The tactics are idiotic.
But they looked
logic
awesome.
behind the battles are beyond mundane. This
It is fantasy, though, just big time.
Doesn't matter. At least you could make sense of what the battle tactics in the 2 Towers were, or Return of the King. This is so idiotic that I'm just staring at this saying, did you guys play a video game, give like a video game to a 10-year-old and run with his essential battle strategy, button mash until something happens?
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors could work.
Dynasty Warriors has better battle choreography than this movie, and that is saying something. Damon's character is probably the most ignorant, confused, absolutely bamboozled dunce.
I think he's pretty
be
confident.
an excuse for a hero. You can clearly tell that the sidekick is going to betray him, and he's like, no, he's my buddy.
Well, Justin, he is a little out of his element, so he's not exactly a genius. He's just, he's good with the fighting, and, some people...
But if you're a merc, you should have some sort of idea. This guy is such... Like, I don't know how you got this far.
Hey.
I don't have any idea how you got this far.
He's good with his weapons.
Yeah.
But he's dumb.
I don't care.
He's so
that's not what he's there for.
monumentally
It's not what he's there
dumb.
for.
Well, Justin, can I ask you this, though? You're
Sure.
right.
He's not taking IQ tests.
I can understand some of the things you're saying. Did you think that the battles, as nonsensical as they were, did you think they looked kind of cool? Do you think it was kind of pretty?
That's where I'll give it points.
Looked pretty to me.
A lot of Yamo's main style motifs are there, and they're actually pretty cool. I really like the costumes. I think the color aspect is good. The problem is, everything that he uses in this for effect is far better in significantly better films. Hero being one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I can't deny that Hero has a better story and better effects, but this is also more CGI driven, less practical. So he's working with what he's given here, and I think if it's going to be an entry to, I guess, more Western audiences, it's not the best, but I think I see that there was some talent put in here.
It would easily be one of the worst things I've seen thus far this year.
I don't know, man. I think I've seen far worse this year so far. I think good's a stretch, sure, but I think we've seen far worse movies.
I mean, you missed out on 50 Shades Darker, but...
I liked it. I think it's in the top half of the movies I've seen this year.
And the first
If we're going to talk about 2017 only, and not the 2016 holdovers like La La Land, top half, sure.
I didn't think it was that bad.
I think it's about on par with the new Triple X movie. I think it's a lot of fun. I think the visuals are great. The 3D was spectacular. I think Damon is fine. Look,
He's fine.
I agree with Joe on the aspect of the whitewashing. He gives it context. It's maybe a little bit threadbare, but
It's something.
this is a movie that was not made really for American audiences, which is why they don't really care that it didn't do that well. It already recouped its money overseas. That was the point of it. But when you compare this to the other movie that was not made for American audiences, and they didn't care if it made a dime here, which is called Warcraft. This movie, I would rather watch this 10 times than see Warcraft again.
I'd have to agree with that.
I'm sorry, it's a much better film than that. Is it more generic than some? Now, I didn't see Hero, so I don't know about that specifically, but of course it is. It's more generic than A Lord of the Rings, a Hobbit. And you're right, Joe. That's exactly what they're going for here.
Totally.
You know, that first real big battle scene.
You
with the
can tell
dragons,
it's
you're
straight
like,
out Two Towers.
Okay, you know,
Yeah, straight
where's
out.
McKellen?
Exactly. We're waiting for Gandalf.
I already
to
got
show
the ladders going. Here we go.
But
Ladders.
yeah, right, ladders, the actual towers themselves.
Yep.
Okay, fine. But look, I had fun watching this movie, and the other thing I liked about it is they did not belabor the time in this movie. This is a pretty easy runtime to go down when you compare it to a lot of, you know, dumb action movies that we've seen, Warcraft being one of them, that far overstays its welcome. I thought, you know, and Joe, maybe this speaks to your point as well. If you expect nothing,
That was
you know,
my
I mean,
way
this
of
movie
looking
is
into it.
getting
Put nothing in it.
This movie is getting killed by the critics, and to be honest,
Look,
I expected and it's not my kind of movie anyway. I really expected to just go in here and be like,
Snooze,
okay,
sleep.
well, gotta watch it for the show.
Yeah.
But I came out of it enjoying myself. I thought the girl was good.
yeah, and I
You
will
know,
say,
and I don't agree that her character is, you know, one-dimensional or however you said.
She
all
is
the other
incredibly
characters were.
one-dimensional, but
But I mean, she's
also,
she's got a good, you know, love interest thing I could do without. But
Yeah, again,
whatever you have
every
to,
movie.
you have to have
Every
it.
movie.
You have to do it. So I mean, visually, I really enjoyed myself. Action sequences, I really enjoyed
did you
myself.
like the jokes, the bits, the little?
I thought
the
there were
banter?
some good bits, to be completely honed. I'd say I probably
Like,
laughed
many
more.
monsters. I wasn't expecting that.
I'd say I probably laughed more at the bits in this than I did in Triple X.
Yeah,
You know,
I
I
did.
mean that had some jokes,
yeah.
but a lot of it also,
a little
you know,
too forced. But
what that girl from the
Rose.
CW, yeah, like hitting on him and stuff. I mean, you know, that I didn't care for.
Oh,
But
yeah.
this, they had some jokes. I thought the arrow thing with the bowl was cool. Did either of you see it in 3D?
yes,
No.
You didn't think the 3D was anything? I liked
not
it.
especially.
Okay.
I think in like little moments here and there it was okay, but honestly, I left relatively unimpressed by the 3D.
All right. Sounds like we have a disagreement on the grade, so I'm interested. Joe, what's your grade?
A C plus.
The B minus for me.
D minus.
Okay, that would be one of the worst of the year then.
That's true.
All right. So up next we have Cure for Wellness. Justin?
Dane DeHaan plays Lockhart, a cocky young executive whose shady antics have finally caught up with him. To protect his job, Lockhart is tasked with recovering his CEO, who is residing at a mysterious wellness center in the Swiss Alps that may have a more sinister motive. Jason Isaacs and Mia Goth also star. I went into this movie thinking that, okay, based on the fact that there was a cool trailer, the sets looked pretty cool, and based on a couple early reviews, it might have been an actually interesting horror movie. And
We
a
should
good
point out that it was in both of our top 5 most anticipated.
that as well. And I was really hoping for a comeback from director Gore Verbinski because, let's be honest, unless you're Joe, the Lone Ranger ain't doing it.
I
Yeah.
gotta say, I want to see that again.
What?
I get like a hankering every now and then to see Lone Ranger. I don't
Watch
know
the last
why.
45 minutes. The train scene.
That's probably what I would do
Yeah,
if
no,
I
Which
just,
everyone
just watch the
does
last
like.
15 minutes.
Everyone does like.
Everybody's happy. But honestly, after watching this movie, I just got to say it. I feel like Gore Verbinski instead just needs a cure for his entire career.
I like
Not
it.
necessarily hanging up, but just figure out what the heck happened to your career because you had the first Pirates movie, you had The Ring, and then everything. Oh, and I guess maybe even Rango in there, and then everything else.
Rango.
There's
Gecko.
quite a few problems with this movie, but I think the most criminal among them is Dane DeHaan is a colossal miscast in the lead role. The main reason being, Dane DeHaan has demonstrated throughout the entirety of his film career that he only has one mode. Angst. And that's fine if you're playing Norman Osborn's son if you're in the Spider-Man series, but it's not okay in a series, in a horror film where your character is supposed to really be like having this actual arc and we're supposed to like him.
I think he was supposed to be kind of a pampered, guy anyway.
Instead, it's just angst, and more angst. As far as the actual storyline goes, I think the biggest issue is Verbinski isn't really sure what tone the movie should have. Is it a mystery? Is it a psychological thriller? Is it a straight-up horror movie?
Yeah.
I don't really think he knows, so he just pretty much throws in as many potentially creepy elements as he can and hopes something strikes your fancy. And to be honest, a few of them work. But the fact that this was clearly supposed to be what would have been the BioShock movie is pretty obvious. Creepy set designs, watery things, and just creepy side characters, of which there are many.
That's true.
Overall, I feel like this movie just really needed a brutal editor to say, look, this isn't working. Let's figure out what this movie is. Let's tell that story. Let's not tell 3 potential movies and hope that somebody likes at least one of them.
Remember when I said 5 minutes ago that The Great Wall was, like, concise and, like, could have been a lot longer? This is a long movie.
It's
It
pretty
doesn't
long.
need to be 2.5 hours.
You can probably cut it down to an hour 40.
I can't say that I was as upset with the length as I have been in other movies, because at least there were things going on. I can't always
Typically.
say I knew what was going on, but there
On
was,
that we can agree.
But there was things that, like, you know, held my interest enough, and I was like, all right, let's see where this goes. Usually it went, like, not to a place I would have gone with it, but all right. Dan DeHaan, my issue with him isn't even really that he only has the one mode.
Which he does.
It's that I don't think he's that good of an actor.
That too.
He looks the part. He looks creepy. He looks alien-like with those big buggy eyes. But other than that movie where he's the poet that
Kill Your
Justin and I
Darlings,
reviewed years ago, Kill Your Darlings,
Really doesn't show much talent.
I was never really a Chronicle fan. I know some people liked Chronicle.
I liked it.
It's okay. I just don't think he's that good of an actor, and that's why I think he's miscast. Not specifically because he plays everything in an angsty way. I just don't think he acts that... Even in the angst movies, you know, he didn't do much for me in the Amazing Spider-Man series.
Or Franco fan.
Well, I will admit I liked the Franco version better, yes.
Okay.
So, you know, there's that. There's that the one twist is pretty obvious early on.
Yep.
But that being said, I think Verbinski does create a very creepy atmosphere. I think there's a lot of cool visuals here. You know, it's I would say probably the highlight of the movie. Is the visual component.
That's all it's really got.
Because it ain't the
Typically,
story.
Not quite, no.
But, you know, I think there's potential for things there. And like I said, even with the long runtime, I don't know that I was ever like, all right, like, let's wrap it up. However, they needed to get to a better conclusion than they did.
That too.
Because I was sort of waiting, like, the reason I was like, not so much wrap it up is because I was sort of waiting for
that big.
Let's see where this goes. Like, what's going to happen other than the obvious thing? Like, are they going to do anything else with it? And they sort of do a little bit, but I just think that there's you know, you kind of hit it, Justin. I mean, I think there's a lot of different ideas going into this, and I don't know if they really mesh as well as anyone involved with it would have liked. So that's kind of where I stand on it. Joe?
No, I pretty much agree with you guys. I mean, I think that this one definitely has a really awesome atmosphere. Like, I really think it does create some creepy visuals, and for the most part, when it's going for the more horror tone that it actually is trying to have, I think it'd be kind of scary. But unfortunately, the thing is, you're right. There are just too many different plot lines they're trying to do, and there's the whole thriller aspect, and then it goes totally off the rails, and you're like, you know, you're just not really taking any of it seriously, and that's one of the elements there. And I think that the big thing for me was that because it was so long, you also kind of lose interest some of the time. Like that was
too.
Because the tone's off. I thought this one was just way too long. As far as his acting goes, though, I think he's okay. I mean, I don't think he's great. Like, I mean, they have picked someone else, definitely, but I could see what they were going for based on the type of roles that he's done before. Is he a great actor? Probably not. I think he's okay. I've always liked him. I liked him in Spider-Man, you know. But then again,
I liked him more than Franco. I'll say that much.
It's a one-note character, though. Really. You know, how much
I can't deny that.
So, you know, with this one, it's, you know, if you're looking at the surface of the satire that we're going for, I guess it's kind of acceptable that he's not as nuanced, if that was the purpose. But then some of the movie's satire, some of it's straight horror, some of it's a thriller. You're like, if he can't do all of this.
And it's not even really satire. It's like skirting the edges of satire. It's
like you can kind of see it. They're touching on it, but they never really make any real.
They don't really do
jokes.
anything with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's there. I thought, but I really, though, I do agree. I think the thing I really liked about it that did keep my interest a lot of time were the visuals. I thought it was really cool. I thought some of the atmosphere was cool, and when it was scary, I think it was genuinely scary. But most of like the 2.5 hours, it wasn't. You know, and when you're making a horror movie,
pretty apt.
You got to be consistent with that.
Well, and it's sort of like putting together a Radiohead record in their very experimental phase when it's just like they were just throwing sounds in there just to be weird. And I think there's a lot of that in this movie to create that atmosphere, but then it doesn't vibe with the story.
Not quite, no.
You know, and they don't know where to go with it. So it's like, yes, visually it's very cool, atmosphere-wise, right on the money, but there was just like that piece was missing, and for a movie like this, it's one of the more important pieces.
Yeah, if you're gonna go 2.5 hours, we need an actual storyline, guys.
Exactly. If you want to have the meat of it, we actually need more plot. We need consistency.
I really wanted Thomas to be the guy. They got this discount Cassell.
Yeah.
That just isn't. He's okay. You know.
Yeah.
But you throw a Thomas in there, and it's like, okay, here we go. And my other big problem with it is, for a place so shrouded in mystery and secrecy, they've got the worst security I've ever seen. Dane DeHaan, literally on crutches, gets anywhere he wants to go where he shouldn't be, where they're keeping secrets from him. He's always there.
Yes.
It's like,
he's the one that
I'm
got
sorry, you might want to, you have two able-bodied legs on your security guards. Have them watching something.
I guess.
And there's never really any justification for any of the plot holes, of which there are many, because no one can figure out what this story actually is.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that are just left unexplored.
Yeah.
Sensory deprivation masturbation was my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Never seen.
What was that about?
Never talked about it again after said scene. But
Yeah.
It looked
okay.
weird, I guess.
Yeah.
There you go. But if it wanted to do that, it did a lot of that. So
Yes.
if it was going for that,
it
that's fine.
It succeeded in that area.
Yeah, some weirdness, which is fine. What did you guys think about the female lead?
I thought she was okay, but again, the casting, she felt like a Mia Wasikowska light, especially because of the Crimson Peak sort of vibe.
If you're saying she's light, then...
And I don't like Mia Wasikowska. I just thought, look, she was supposed to be basically like dead-eyed.
Yeah,
really for the
generic
look,
creepy girl.
Based on the acting.
And so she, I guess, got that, but it just seemed like they either couldn't get Mia because she was doing Crimson Peak, or she cost too much money, or it's like it just, every major character, it seems like
should have been someone else.
Should have been a better person, and many of them I have specific examples like that.
Interesting.
I don't know who I would have preferred over Dane DeHaan. I'm not sure if there's a creepy looking up-and-comer male
about that age.
About that age, I'm not sure. Because he definitely has the creepy look that works with the rest of this movie.
The visuals, he fits. Maybe that's
no.
Which makes sense.
But
for the
can
casting,
act for the diver.
Right.
But the script was all over the place. But hey, anyway, I think that this is a very flawed movie. There are some interesting things about it that I'd liked, but far from perfect. I leave it with a C-.
Okay. I'm a bit higher. It's a C for me. And I'd actually like to watch it again, just to sort of...
I could watch it again.
Yeah, figure out some of the things I didn't quite understand.
Good luck with that, sir.
Right, Justin?
But,
Tell me.
I'm actually with Joe on this one. It's a C-. This might be the first major disappointment in 2017.
I was surprised you guys.
I'm not pleased that I had it in my top 5.
And I mean, I thought it was bold. Like, I wish it would have been good, but I was just surprised with you guys picking a horror movie early in the year.
Hey, sometimes February you can strike gold. Kingsman being prime example. Deadpool as well. Not Lone Ranger. That was summer.
But I mean, the director of Lone Ranger, I thought that would have resonated. Like,
yes, and Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. So
yeah,
what does that tell you?
Swung and missed a couple times.
Yeah.
And he's also hit. So
yeah, you never know.
All right, so finally we have Fist Fight, and in this movie, Ice Cube and Charlie Day play 2 high school teachers on the last day of school, in which there are a ton of budget cuts to the school, and Charlie Day happens to basically dime Ice Cube out for attacking a student, to Principal Dean Norris, not playing a cop, Joe.
Whoa!
Joe missed this one, but Dean Norris does not play a cop in this movie.
Does he play a cop like Principal?
Yes.
Sort of, yeah.
Yes, he does.
No, it's true.
So from that point on, Ice Cube challenges Charlie Day to a fist fight after school. And here Tracy Morgan co-stars, as well as Jillian Bell, who's shown up in Office Christmas Party and 22 Jump Street. This movie is not good.
Whoa.
I sort of already thought it was a one-joke movie. I mentioned that to you guys last week before we even watched it.
Sounds like
it. Just seemed like a one-joke movie. Do I like Charlie Day a lot? Yeah, he is funny, and he gets the most laughs here. But Ice Cube is the same as he is in Ride Along. And to be honest, I think Ice Cube is not as menacing as he thinks he is. This isn't Straight Outta Compton anymore.
Not quite.
This is the years after Are We There Yet?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
And look, it's happened before with rappers. I mean, Snoop Dogg, does the Martha Stewart show now, and he did the Pee Wee football reality show with his
Lest
son.
we ever forget Bones.
He was on Bones?
No. He made a movie called Bones, which was like his attempt to do like a scary horror film.
Okay.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And look, these people can still have cred. Snoop Dogg on the streets is still a hero. He smokes weed 24/7. We got it. Cube, I don't know. I mean, I guess because he was in NWA, maybe.
Yeah.
But here,
That's it.
it's just like, yeah, okay, you're tough, I guess, because you can beat up Charlie Day. It's like, I don't know. That's like somebody trying to beat me up. Like, I'm 5'3", like, I'm not menacing. So it's sort of like an unfair fight to begin with.
Is that the joke?
Kind of.
Sort of issue.
One of the jokes, yes. Jillian Bell here is sort of doing the same type of character she usually does, which I liked in the smaller doses we got of her in some of those other movies that I mentioned. Here, she's a little more front and center. Tracy Morgan's pretty funny. He's probably the number 2 funny man in the movie. He gets some decent jokes. But again, all of these characters are very basic and one note. And we see that a lot in these types of comedies. They go for, the F word is a joke, supposedly.
Yeah, for shock value.
Right. They go for the shock over top of, good writing, which was my problem with Horrible Bosses, too.
Yep.
The first one's great, and then the second one, they just, you got to push the envelope too far, and it's like, it's not necessarily funny to me. Now, Charlie Day, I think his character has a good arc. There's some insightful monologuing towards the end about, teachers in this country that's horribly out of place in this movie, but in another better written movie might be insightful about how teachers are treated and how, whatever. So it had a few good moments. I got many less laughs than in, certain other R-rated comedy movies that we've reviewed in the last year or two on this show. So it was, I guess kind of a mixed bag, because it wasn't horrible. It just wasn't that funny. It was like okay on the laughs, and everything else kind of, sort of, almost, maybe, might have fallen into place, but it didn't. Justin?
I'm actually sort of on the flip side with this one in a shocking upset. I thought this was honestly the best thing we reviewed this entire cast.
Well, a D- and a C- don't really.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Now, granted, I figured this was gonna be a lowbrow comedy, so as to be expected, I went in with fairly low expectations. What I think works with this is, even though it's essentially a reversed version of the 80s comedy 3 O'Clock High, what does work with it is the interplay between Day and Cube. We usually know Charlie Day as the squeaky-voiced guy from It's Always Sunny, which he's very good at playing, and he sneaks into every single movie he's in, playing the same guy over and over and over again. But I think here he goes a little bit more... he tries to do a little bit more with that, trying particularly with the arc. The satirical angle, I agree, it doesn't work, but I like the fact that it's there. I think had they spent more time developing the story instead of the really, really bad first act, which is just obnoxious prank after obnoxious prank after obnoxious prank.
Yeah.
But I think once it settles down and actually gets to the initial conflict, and we get that sort of 3 O'Clock High vibe of, okay, how am I going to get out of this fight? I think it actually starts finding its stride.
There's some good jokes there. I mean, I think one of the best scenes in that regard is when spoiler alert, whatever, it's fist fight, where they end up in jail, for a couple hours. There's a good kind of back and forth with the one guy there that he tries to pit against Q.
Yeah. No, that was a good scene for me.
Yeah.
For me, the best bit in the entire movie was the negotiation, where they finally, in Hollywood history, we have finally gotten a legitimately good North Korea joke.
What?
Yeah, that was funny.
Okay. So I'm guessing Ice Cube's North Korea.
They take him to like a model UN class, and so all the desks have the different.
So pretty much starts off
that's
with
kind of funny.
Charlie Day's in Israel. Ice Cube
he's in Iran. That's a good joke.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And then Ice Cube grabs
But
North
this
Korea.
movie doesn't have hardly any of those. That was a well-written gag. You're right.
But no, I think once it actually sort of decides to not focus so much on every single visual gimmick, it starts actually having some fun. And honestly, we finally do get to the said titular fist fight, it's surprisingly well choreographed.
Yeah, I actually didn't mention that. The actual fight itself is very well done.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
No, it's well put
is.
together for what it is.
I wouldn't expect that.
I mean, if you're expecting the raid, prepare to be disappointed. But
maybe
for just comedy fight scene, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. But for me, I went in with low expectations. I laughed quite a bit and felt relatively satisfied, save the really rough first 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was rough. Well, I'm a little surprised by that, but I mean, best of the week against D- and C- doesn't really evoke me with I'm way off the mark.
In my defense, it was the last thing I covered for the show. But
okay.
So he's like, breath of fresh
First
air.
one I saw, I thought, man, this
Comedy.
might be my least favorite of the week. It was not, actually. It's the same Greatest Cure for Wellness. I give it a C.
B-.
Okay. Interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, did not expect that. All right, well, that's going to do it for this week. Just a few more of our regular shows here, but we do have a bunch of mini-sodes up. And, Joe, since we didn't get to hear from you on that last movie, let's talk about Merlin.
Oh, well, I still have to edit it together, but there was kind of a light group of people for the last Merlin cast, but we had some really in-depth discussion about Batman and fandom that I thought was pretty insightful, and just kind of people's perceptions of that.
I could have participated in that.
You could have, and Justin could too, because
Yeah.
it's related to stuff we bring up all the time about,
Fandom ruining.
hatred of one thing versus
okay.
another, and perspectives, and it was a good conversation, and then we talked about Dragon Ball for the rest of the time.
Okay.
Weird transition, but okay.
That's usually...
But to be
Where I
fair,
get lost.
it was more about how we wanted to see new things,
Okay.
which you're familiar with, because we will.
Because I saw Frieza.
And literally,
Yeah.
we've agreed that from now on, we'd like to see the Dragon Ball characters just do normal things, because that's funny.
Huh.
So pretty much
Like,
Dragon Ball Z's High School Reunion Part 2.
kind of. Like, we were thinking, like, Piccolo, the big green alien guy.
Oh, yeah.
We want to see him, like,
Love
do his
him.
taxes. Like, teach him what a W-2 is. That would be hilarious.
And that's how
That
Dragon Ball
would.
Z became a sitcom.
Definitely would.
And we need more comedy.
So you can check those out on the Merlin channel, and you can, of course, subscribe to our channel as well. Join us on the Facebook group, Film Fanatics with an exclamation point, or the Twitter feed at Film Fanatics Pod. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you back here next time.